This is no longer just another flood report. This is a full-scale disaster unfolding with terrifying intensity in Hunan, China. What happened here feels like something out of a disaster film, except this is real, and thousands of families are living through it right now. It began with relentless rainfall, not steady, not gentle but explosive. Record-shattering downpours that turned the sky into a collapsing ocean. Within a single hour, rainfall totals surged to levels that drainage systems were never designed to withstand. Streets flooded almost instantly. Water surged through intersections, swallowed vehicles, and poured into underground transit systems. But that was only the beginning. Under the crushing pressure of extreme runoff and swollen reservoirs, a dam structure reportedly failed, and in that moment, the situation escalated beyond emergency into catastrophe. When a dam gives way, it is not a gradual overflow. It is violent, sudden, and unforgiving. A roaring wall of water tears downstream with unstoppable momentum, carrying debris, mud, shattered infrastructure.
Hits it. Hits it.
And anything caught in its path. Entire neighborhoods were submerged within hours. Highways became rivers. Bridges were cut off. Power outages spread across multiple districts as substations were inundated. Public transport collapsed. Airports delayed departures as floodwaters encroached on access roads. The soundscape shifted from traffic and city life to sirens, rushing water, and emergency broadcasts. And the most chilling part, much of it happened under darkness. Imagine waking up to emergency alerts, the sound of pounding rain, and water rising outside your door. Families forced to evacuate in the middle of the night. Parents carrying children through waist-deep currents. Elderly residents guided carefully over unstable ground. Emergency responders navigating through submerged streets with limited visibility. Racing against time as river gauges continued to climb. Tens of thousands were relocated across Hunan and surrounding regions. Rivers surged past historic safety markers, some breaking records that had stood for decades. Hydrological monitoring stations reported levels rarely, if ever, observed before. This was not seasonal flooding. This was a system overwhelmed. The broader weather setup only adds to the fear. Moisture-laden air from monsoonal flows collided with lingering tropical remnants, creating a convergence zone capable of producing torrential rainfall at extreme rates. When that much atmospheric moisture is the land has no capacity to absorb it. Urban drainage collapses under the load. Hillsides destabilize. Reservoirs strain. The margin for error disappears, and Hunan had already endured intense heat in the weeks prior. Prolonged heat waves weaken infrastructure, strain emergency systems, and dry out soil surfaces. Then, when heavy rain finally arrives, instead of absorbing water, hardened ground accelerates runoff. Rivers respond violently. Flash flooding becomes more sudden. The transition from drought stress to flood disaster becomes shockingly abrupt. landslides in mountainous areas, dam and levee stress downstream. Water contamination risks as floodwaters mix with sewage systems and industrial runoff. Public health advisories warn residents to boil water, avoid direct contact with standing floodwater, and remain alert for symptoms of waterborne illness. The disaster extends far beyond what is visible in drone footage. The images coming out of Hunan are deeply unsettling. Entire districts appear as inland lakes, cars stacked against barriers by current force, mud-coated streets where asphalt once showed, rescue boats navigating what used to be city avenues. The scale is difficult to process. What makes this even more alarming is the pattern. Across multiple provinces this season, rivers have exceeded warning levels. Record rainfall events are appearing with unsettling frequency. Infrastructure built for extreme but rare weather is being tested again and again. Each time the limits are pushed a little further. This is not about panic. It is about realism. When rainfall intensifies beyond historical norms, adaptation becomes urgent. Dam inspections, drainage redesigns, Cell, floodplain management. Now, and early warning systems must evolve. Urban expansion into low-lying areas increases exposure. The cost of underestimating hydrological extremes grows higher with every event. And yet, amid the destruction, there is undeniable purpose. First responders working to exhaustion, rescue teams clearing debris under ongoing rainfall, volunteers helping evacuate neighbors, medical teams preparing for post-flood complications, communities supporting one another in the face of chaos. But resilience should not mean normalization of disaster. No city should expect to experience catastrophic flooding as a seasonal routine. No family should treat midnight evacuations as inevitable. Events like this demand analysis, preparedness, and sustained investment in stronger defenses. Hunan's flood horror is a stark reminder of how quickly stability can unravel when extreme weather for normalcy to resolve into emergency. My thoughts are with every resident displaced, every worker responding in dangerous conditions, and every family waiting anxiously for waters to recede. Recovery will be long. Monitoring will continue. The risk of secondary flooding and landslides remains real. If you want continued, fact-based coverage of major severe weather events like this without exaggeration, but without minimizing the risks, subscribe to Weather Floods. Turn on notifications for ongoing updates as this situation develops, and as we track extreme weather patterns across Asia and around the world. In an era of accelerating extremes, information is preparation. Stay informed. Stay prepared. Stay vigilant.